The first time I watched a football game, I couldn't understand what was going on. I couldn't understand why people were screaming. I couldn't understand the shouts, the offside, penalties. I couldn't get it. I was just there, confused, nodding, and looking for an escape route. But over time, something clicked. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. How are you doing? How is your week? How is your day coming along? Drop your responses in the comment section. I really want to know how you're doing. Let's have a conversation. We're trying to be the community, right? Yes, so over time, I've had people come up to me to ask, oh, Susan, do you really love football? Do you just talk about football? And I thought it wise to bring it up here so I can share my love for football, how it came to be, and how I marry life alongside football. So yes, stick with me. So my earliest memory of watching football was the times I used to watch it with my dad and my siblings, right? But at the start, it wasn't something I enjoyed. It was something that I felt like, well, I was being forced to watch because you know that sort of thing where your dad is with the remote, you can't switch stations, and then you're just stuck. Yes, that was how I felt at my earliest football watching stages, if I should put it that way. Yes, but my earliest feel of football came in 2004, and that was when Nigeria was playing against Cameroon in the African Cup of Nations quarterfinals. Right, that particular game, I think Nigeria won by 2 goals to 1. Yes, but that particular game was different. It was different because it was one that felt it was the one where I felt all of the emotions that came with that comes with watching football. It was one where excuse me, it was one where I had um so many people in the same space. It was one where we had pepper soup, we had yam, we had what we call a puri in Delta State. It was that sort of evening, or should I say early afternoon for each and every one of us. It was one where everybody had placed bets. It was one where feelings were felt. Every kick meant something. Every pass to another player meant something. Every move from Nigeria's box 18 to the opposition's box meant something. Like you could literally feel like the atmosphere was completely different. So that was my earliest memory. That's my first earliest feel of football. That was the game where I got to really enjoy football. It was the game that opened my eyes um to how you could have people running on the field and it could affect you in many ways than you can actually um think about, really. So yes, that was my earliest feel of football. After going through all the emotions that comes with watching football, right? After that emotional moment for me, I now came to the confusion state. That was a state where I couldn't understand why there were 11 players winning against 11 players. It was a state where I couldn't understand why what card was given for what offense or for what foul. It was a stage where I really couldn't get anything. So I was sincerely confused. But yes, because I had already fallen in love with the game, moving out from that confusion state was easy for me because I could ask questions. I could watch more games. There were times where I'd sit in front of the TV and just watch United, watch Arsenal, watch Chelsea. So by that time, I'd moved from just watching Nigerian games, right, to now watching Premier League games. I'll just stay there, just watching the players, and I'm taking in whatever was happening. So it wasn't a case of maybe I was asking, oh, so what is yellow card for? No, it was a case where I was studying what cards were given for what offense, and that was what summed up my first football knowledge, if I should call it that. That was what summed up that part for me. And after that came the light bulb moment. So the light bulb moment for me was at I think my later teens. It came in my later teens, and that was because at that time I could now understand what football was about. So um, it was just a phase in my love for football where I could say, oh, I can now marry football with life. So there are several philosophies that you could should I say put around football, or you could use in marrying football and life, and I'll be sharing 7 of mine with you today, so stick with me. For my philosophy on how you can marry football and everyday life, right? I'll start with kickoff. So, kickoff for me is a new beginning. Now, in football, kickoff is usually the start of every new game. It's the start of every new game, right? And if I marry it with everyday life, that's a new beginning. So, the fact that a team lost 3-0 over the weekend doesn't mean that they can't do better midweek when you're playing another team, right? So that's the same thing with life. The fact that you have to switch careers, or you have to switch jobs, or you have to switch job roles doesn't mean that you cannot do better than how you were before. So for every kickoff is a new beginning. Do you understand? So every kickoff is a new beginning in real life, either for a team or for a person. Now let's move on to number 2, defense. Defense is literally just protecting your peace and your boundaries. Now, in football, the defenders are literally the ones that stops the opposing party from coming into their half, right? From coming into their box, a team from coming into their own half, literally. And that's how it is in real life, right? You have to build up defenses. You have to protect your peace. You have to create boundaries so that people do not literally cross them. People do not actually cross them. And then find a way to hurt you. That's simply it. That's all defense is about. Let's move on to midfield. Midfield is about creating chances and controlling the game. So for football, the midfielders are the ones that control the tempo of the game. They're the ones that dictate how fast the game is going to be or how slow the game is going to be. And at the same time, alongside controlling the game, they also create chances. Now, this is where some persons get stuck in life, because if in your midfield stage, right, you're creating chances, or rather, you're controlling your life, right? You're controlling the tempo. You're dictating how fast you want to go or how slow you want to go, right? And you don't create chances for yourself. You have problems. I'll use Arsenal's game against City as an example. When we started in first half, we had midfielders, and the major issue we had was nobody was creating a crucial chance nobody was creating a crucial goal scoring chance. Now that's where the difference comes in, and literally that's how life is, right? If you continue controlling and you don't end up creating chances for yourself, then you lose out on goal scoring opportunities. The strikers. So the strikers is literally us just chasing our goals, right? After you've done all the work, you've done your defense, you've gotten to your midfield stage, you've done your new beginnings to start with, and you get into your striking stage, which is you chasing your goals. I believe that's very simple, because in football, strikers are the ones that score goals. So when you've gone through all of those stages, you don't just sit back and say, okay, yes, I've done everything, I've acquired everything that I need to acquire. Now, what next do? You chase your goals. What goals are you creating for yourself? What leap of faith are you taking? That's it. Very simple. The coach. The coach simply just signifies mentors and guardians. I do not believe that there's anybody that goes through life without mentorship or guidance. I don't think it is. I don't think it's right. for you to get the best out of your life, you have to have mentors. You have to have people that you look up to. You have to have people that you're learning from, right? And that is where that comes in. Coach, mentorship, and guidance. So in football, the coach is the one that mentors the team, and that's how it should be in real life. Injuries and fouls. Now, for injuries and fouls, they equate setbacks. We've seen where players get injured and they have to be out for a month, for 2 months, for the whole of the season, and even longer. Now, what they do with that injury is what matters. So if you look at it in life, when you have setbacks, what you do with that setbacks is what matters. Yes, you started a new business. Did the business kill? No, it didn't. What you do with it? Do you just say, oh, I'm done with businesses, I give up? Or I'm looking at how I messed up the last one so that I don't make the same mistakes in my new one. So what you do with your setbacks actually matters. The final whistle. Now, the final whistle simply signifies the end of a season or the end of a game. Now, you see how the ref blows the final whistle, yeah? And the game has ended. Does this mean that there will not be another game? No, it doesn't. It's literally the end of that particular game. There are other games to come, right? So the end of a whistle is simply just the end of a season. It's not the end of the life, right? So let's assume that in 2023, no, let's just even look at 2023, 2024 season, somebody won the trophy, right? Does that mean that when 2025 season comes, nobody's going to do better? No, that's not it at all. So when the final whistle blows on a particular game, what do you do next, right? I could also say from this angle, if you look at the final whistle, some persons are in positions in their life where they are probably enjoying that new job, they are probably enjoying that business, but it has come to the point where you have to move on from that stage, and you're like, no, I have to stay there. No, you have to recognize when the final whistle has been blown, so as to now open yourself up for new kickoffs and new beginnings. That's literally it. At the end of all of this, right, what I would want you to take home is there is always an end to a game. No matter how sweet the game was, no matter how horrible the game went, there's always an end. What is important, however, is what you learned and how well you played, right? What you learned and how well you played. If you've gotten one or two from this video, let me know in the comments. If you have tips to add, let me know in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this, also let me know in the comments. Do not forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Have a wonderful new week. Bye.